Grace Makerspace. Today we are making an absolute army of baby raptor art dolls. So let's get started. Excuse me. First, of course, with the art dolls, we must start with the sculpt for the head. Eyes you see here are already painted, but at some point I'll release a video for how to paint eyes later. Basically, the eyes are just glass cabochons that I've painted the backs of. Now, the head doesn't need to be super detailed, especially since most of these baby raptors, if not all of them, are going to be covered in some amount of fur. So really all I need, or all you need if you want to make these yourself, is the mouth, the nose, maybe a little bit of texture. For the end of the snout, I use a texture stamp, which is basically just a cooked piece of Sculpey with a couple of holes in it, with a bunch of holes in it, just to add a little bit of extra texture. That way, if there's anything that the fur does not cover, then there's a little bit of texture just to keep your eye interested. And now we bake. Now up next is my favorite part of making art dolls, and that is the painting. Done, ready for varnish. Now we must be careful with this step because I've broken many art doll heads here. So for these art dolls, I made a pattern for the armature. Here you can see me checking the size of the heads to make sure that they would all fit on the armature. And if you would like, you can stop the video and take a screenshot of the pattern that I use. That way you can make your own. This isn't exactly a tutorial video because I'm still learning how to film, but hopefully you can learn. And here are all of the little armatures ready for their quill batting.
Hello there.
You underestimate my power.
Oh, hello there. was just thinking about the book I've been reading. I've been searching far and wide for a book like this one. One of the things I really liked about this book is the illustrations, like this one. And that one. And that one too. I really liked the plot because it was interesting and fun, and so were the characters. You can get your copy today on Amazon, just like me.
Here you can see me wrapping the armature with quilt batting. This will basically pad out the art doll so that when we add the fabric, we don't have to stuff it afterward. So you just cut out a small piece for the body. It was going to be multicolored, so I just cut multiple different colors of fabric. But basically you just cut a piece that seems like it fits. But cut some holes in for the arms and the legs, and then glue the pieces of fabric. Here you can see me getting a little ahead of myself and putting on the fabric before furring actually happens. I tend to keep furring it near the end because the fur gets everywhere. And it's always good to clean your workspace as you work. So always keep a lint roller and a vacuum handy. This pattern is a little bit complicated, but if you were to make a simpler one, you could just use one single piece of fabric and sew down the center of the art doll. And now for this little guy, it's time for sewing. Now for the sewing, I basically just use a ladder stitch and I go all the way down the side, leaving holes in the arms and the legs. Here I'm adjusting the end of the tail so that the tail bit, the blue, can fit there. This one I only used one solid piece of black fabric. And now it is time, after sewing the arms and the legs, for the furring montage. Now is on to painting, and for this one, I'm going the muted on color scheme since this is the muted on. But as you can see here with the paint, I had to cover up the stitches, so right there, I had to add a thicker layer of paint to that. Most of the time I water my paint down so that it blends in a lot better to the fabric and so that the texture stays pretty much the same. But sometimes you need to cover up the thread. It is really good for doing that. Time for a bit of a nerve-wracking color, which is really, really dark gray. And this one, I always tend to just use a darker fabric, but for this one I really did have to just paint the gray because I did not have a darker fabric. So for this, I just watered down the paint a lot, and then after it was dry, I brushed it down a lot. This one, I'm sure everyone recognizes this one. the stripes on this one were really fun to do. Again, using watered down paint. If you want paint to adhere to a fabric without making it like really crunchy, this is the best way to do it, is to water down your paint.
Her little pose is like, please give me, I want the snacks. I don't have a snack, but I have flour.
I love how this one turned out. And now is time for the dreaded brushing the fabric aggressively so that the paint hopefully does not change the texture of the fabric. But now is on to paint the hands and the feet. And of course, I like to add little paw pads, or as the internet likes to call them, toe beans. Dinosaurs, surprisingly, feet kind of like this. If you look up dinosaur foot impressions, they kind of look like that. Here you can see me varnishing. And now, the art dolls are ready for their reveal. And these little guys are done. I'm so happy with how they look. To pick one up, we'll be loading them within the next couple of weeks after posting this video.